Here today we are going to learn about pyramids and cones, the volumes of pyramids and cones. So if we look at a square pyramid, square because the base is a square, pyramid because there's only one base. If we take a square pyramid and we look at our square prism, the interesting thing about the volume is the amount of volume that can fill this pyramid is 1/3 of this, which is really interesting, is that 3 of these can fit in one of these. Now, if we look, we've got identical bases to the, and that it takes up 1/3 of that, which is really, really interesting. So, if we have a triangular prism, triangular because the base is a prism, is a triangle, prism because it's got 2 bases, and then we look at the triangular pyramid, we notice that this is a triangular pyramid because the base is a triangle, pyramid because it only has one base. Again, the volume of this triangular pyramid is 1/3 of this. Very, very cool, very interesting. And the last one that we need to see is the cone. So here's our cylinder, 2 base, circular base, and then we have our cone, which is a circular base, 1 base, 2 bases. The volume of this cone is 1/3 of this. Unbelievable. You wouldn't think that you'd have 1/3 of that. That this is 1/3 of that. You can fit 3 of these in one of these, as long as they have the same base. They have identical bases with the same radius, same shape. So really, really cool, very interesting. So that being said, let's make this small. That being said, we need to look at our formula, since the formula for the volume of any prism or cylinder is volume equals big B times H, then a pyramid and cone is going to be 1/3 big B times H. And remember that big B represents the base area. That's just the area of the bottom part. So if we were looking at big B is just looking for this area. It wants to know how much space is down there. And that would represent base times height, because it's a square. Could use S squared, but squares are also rectangles, and the area formula for a rectangle is base times height. And then notice the height, though. This is an interesting thing. When we talked about slant height in surface area, and we talk about height in this, the height is going to be internal from the center of the base to the top of the object. So that has to be perpendicular. So there are units and measures. So if we do this, volume equals 1/3. So the base of the base is 7 kilometers times the height. This is the base, this is the height of the base, which is also 7 kilometers, times the height of the object, which is also 7 kilometers. A lot of sevens in that problem. So 7 kilometers times 7 kilometers gives us 49 kilometers squared. Let's take 49 times 7 gives us, let's see if we, no, can I move it? Yep. 1/3 times 343 kilometers cubed. Remember, volume will always be cubed, a cubed value. And now let's multiply that by 1/3 or divide by 3. Gives us a volume of 114.3 repeating kilometers cubed. You also could have had 114 and 1/3 kilometers cubed. and that is going to be the volume of that pyramid that has a square base. So you try this one, pause the video, make sure you're using the correct formula. Since it's a pyramid, we're going to use volume equals 1/3 big B times H. 1/3 of the base area times the height. So when you're ready, unpause it and we'll go over the answer. So as we said, volume equals 1/3 big B times H. What's the base shape? The base shape for this one is a square. So we're going to use base times height. The base of that square is 8 meters. The height of that square is 8 meters. And then the height of the object of the pyramid is 11 meters. 8 meters times 8 meters gives us 64 meters squared. Let's multiply that 64 meters squared times 11 meters, which gives us 704 meters cubed. We have meters squared times meters, gives us meters cubed. And then let's take a third of 704 meters cubed, and a third of that gives us 234.6 meters cubed. You also could have had 234 and 2/3 meters cubed. I'll accept that answer also. Excellent. Let's take a look at this one. This one, notice the base of the triangle, base of the pyramid this time. Yes, Mr. Mack, it is a triangle. So think about that when you're plugging in the equation for your big B. Remember, the big B is always going to be the area of your base. So pause it, try that one with a triangular base, and see what you get. When you're ready, unpause it, and we'll go over the solution. So as we said, our base shape is a triangle. So what's the formula for a triangle? We're going to plug in base times height divided by 2. What is the base of that triangle? Remember, the base has to be a side on the triangle. So I'm going to choose that as my base. And then my height, this height needs to be perpendicular to that base. So I'm going to make that 6 miles. So I have 8 miles times 6 miles divided by 2. And then I'm going to times it by the height of the object. The height of the object has to be inside to the middle of that base. It has to be perpendicular inside, which is 12 miles. So we have 8 miles times 6 miles is 48 miles squared, divided by 2 is 24 miles squared. We're going to take 24 miles squared, multiply it by 12 miles to get 288 miles cubed, and then we're going to divide that by 3, which would give us a volume of 96 miles cubed. Now the last one that we're going to try today is a cone. What do you think that formula is going to be for the volume of a cone? It only has one base, so yes, volume equals 1/3 big B times H. What is that? So you try it, think about what that base shape is, and then what's the area of that base. When you're ready, or pause it, work on it, make sure you're showing your steps, and then when you're ready, unpause it. Good. So we have 1/3 big B times H. Our base shape is a circle, so we're going to plug in pi r squared. That's the area formula for a circle. Pi, we're going to plug in 3.14. The radius is 10 inches. So we're going to square 10 inches, and then we're going to multiply it by the height of the object, which in this example is 20 inches. So we're going to square 10 inches, which gives us Oh, Mr. Mac, that was wrong. Hello, Mr. Mac. 10 inches squared, which would give us 100 inches squared. And then we're going to multiply that by 20 inches, which actually gives us 2,000. So we have 3.14 times 2,000 inches cubed. And then we're going to take 3.14 and we're going to multiply that by 2,000, which gives us 6,280 inches cubed. And then we're going to multiply that by 1/3. Multiply that by 1/3 and you're going to get 2093.3 repeating. So a little bit off, just 1 decimal point off, and that's inches cubed. That's the volume of that cone. Good. Hopefully you understand it. We see the similarities between volume of a prism and volume of a pyramid. A pyramid is just 1/3 of that prism. Good luck. Let me know if you have questions. Try that worksheet, and good luck.